Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new sports debate video. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. So recently, they just added Andre Drummond from the buyout market, which is a huge pickup for them because of the injuries they currently have to their two best players and two of the best players in the entire league, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So taking into account the current situation with LeBron James and Anthony Davis being injured, and whether or not you think they might come back this season, and if they come back, do you think they'll be healthy? So taking into account everything, like I said, in the recent addition of Andre Drummond as well, do you think the Lakers are going to be the favorites to come out of the West and make it to the NBA Finals? So Jared's going to go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Shivam. So, Andre Drummond obviously is a great acquisition for this team. However, given the current timeline of the returns for LeBron James and Anthony Davis has been cleared for full on court like activity. However, I don't know if they're going to send him back right away. Just they might preserve him for the playoffs or something like that. But we see in the Lakers games recently, if Andre Drummond does well, the Lakers win. But he has not been doing too well recently. He's averaging about 9 points per game and 9 rebounds per game, which aren't his best numbers, especially when you look back at his other seasons. He led the league in total defensive rebounds, I believe, for 4 years, and he's a 2-time All-Star. And these just aren't really the numbers that you're looking for somebody who was that good in the past. And he already has had 2 injuries on the Lakers, that do with his feet. So hopefully, we can only hope that they're not similar injuries that are just going to add on top of each other and maybe affect the rest of his career. Just hope that they're 2 minor injuries as they were, but they were 2 weeks apart, which is a little concerning that it is the same thing injured twice within 2 weeks. But even when he's back and healthy, I don't think he's going to have enough of an impact to help them get through the playoffs while LeBron is still hurt, because I believe he's out for another 3 weeks. I don't know exactly when he's going to return. I don't really think it's very clear when he is going to return. But I just don't think that they're going to have a good enough playoff push where they're going to make it all the way to the finals, lacking these stars. And even if these stars are coming back off injury, they're probably not going to be themselves coming off injury. So I don't believe that the Lakers are the front runners for the finals when you have teams like the Jazz, the Suns, the Clippers, maybe the Nuggets, even though sadly Jamal Murray has just had a very upsetting injury. So I don't know if they're really the biggest finals contender anymore. But the Jazz and the Suns and the Clippers are all extremely healthy teams right now who are, in my opinion, the favorites for the finals. Shivam, over to you.
All right, so yeah, I definitely agree with some of the things you said, and like I can see where you're coming from. You know, obviously Anthony Davis does have his question marks, right? Is he gonna come back? Is he gonna come back healthy? And obviously, like you said with Andre Drummond. Now, you said Andre Drummond has been struggling, and I think the reason for that, I mean, this is just my opinion, but the reason I think he's struggling is because he's getting used to a new team, and I feel like since this is like his first couple of games with a brand new team, and he's also in a big market. Like he used to play for the Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers, which are really small market teams. So that transition to a big market team with superstars and championship or bust expectations, and also getting used to a new system, I think it'll take some time for him to get used to. And luckily, he does have a couple of regular season games left. I believe 15 around there the Lakers have left. So I feel like he'll get better and he'll get to that point because he's a rebounding machine. Like he'll get you like 15 rebounds probably at least a game when he's really in his zone and he's really feeling himself. So I'm not really worried about Andre Drummond. If he continues, then yeah. But obviously, like you said, the injury history, the injury concerns are definitely valid. So my basis for my argument is that I'm assuming that the Lakers players will be healthy. And same thing for Anthony Davis. Like I'm assuming he's going to be healthy. I've been very happy with how the Lakers have been taking care of his situation. They're not rushing him back. They're not doing anything. They're being super cautious, which is what you're supposed to do when they're dealing with a superstar player like Anthony Davis. And so I definitely agree with what they're doing with that situation. And whether I believe the playoffs start in 2.5, 3 weeks, early May, I believe. Lakers are not going to be in the play-in tournament. They're already going to be in the playoffs, so they get some extra time there. And I'm confident LeBron James can come back by playoff time. And we all know playoff LeBron is just a different player. He's a different animal. He turns on, like he flips the switch. So I'm confident that even if Anthony Davis isn't there for the first round, like potentially some of the teams they could play in the round one are, the Trailblazers, the Nuggets without a Jamal Murray, maybe the Mavericks, maybe the Grizzlies move up a couple of spots. I mean, those are the kind of teams that the Lakers are probably going to face uh, in the playoffs and for round one. And I feel like LeBron, I'm confident, like LeBron by himself can probably beat one of those teams that I just mentioned and carry the Lakers to at least round two. And that gives extra time for Anthony Davis to come back healthy. And I feel like, then round two, when you start to get the competition higher, that should be fine. And like some of the arguments for the Nets, if I want to go to the Nets, some of the arguments for the Nets have been, injuries as well. What about the chemistry, right? And that's not a concern at all for the Lakers because Anthony Davis and LeBron James played last year and they won a championship last year. So the chemistry is already there and majority of their core roster players are already there as well. So, they don't have any chemistry problems. So you can just plug Anthony Davis right back in there. He did it last year. He won a championship last year. He knows what he has to do. So I'm confident that LeBron James can at least get them past round one and then Anthony Davis will come back healthy. But I can definitely see where you're coming from with the injury concerns.